The war in Afghanistan actually started right here in America, right here in New York City, this island, which I'm on right now, Manhattan Island, September 11, 2001. Our counterattack came about a month later in Afghanistan, and we've been there ever since, but that's changing. We're getting out. It's time we get out, but we're getting out in a very sloppy, haphazard way that could give rise to who knows what. Today, Joe Biden was asked about this chaos on the ground, and he struggled to keep up. He struggled to remember why we went in the first place.
We went for two reasons. One, to bring Osama bin Laden to the gates of hell.
Yeah, I'm actually relieved he figured that one out. Took him about 5 seconds. Bin Laden, oh, by the way, though, we got him in Pakistan. Yeah, the images from Afghanistan are rough, and we'll get to those in a moment. And it was rough today on Joe Biden.
Thank you.
Mr. President, do you trust the Taliban, Mr. President?
Mr. President, why can't you evacuate?
Do you trust the Taliban, Mr. President? Do you trust the Taliban, sir? Why are you letting your country over?
Is the U.S. responsible for the deaths that happened to Afghans after you leave?
Mr. President, will you amplify that question, please? Will you amplify your answer, please, why you don't trust the Taliban?
It's a silly question. Do I trust the Taliban? No.
Mr. President, Mr. President, thank you.
I'm going to take one more question.
Mr. President, have you spoken with any Taliban officials about the withdrawal?
Mr. President, can you please
the Taliban
explain
in Russia today?
Mr. President, thank you.
Kind of a mess. Sounded like a pet shop in there. Look, we're getting out. It's sloppy. It didn't have to be this sloppy. I don't think President Trump would have let this happen, but who knows? Who knows? Joe did get angry because this looks bad for America, and we don't know what's going to happen next.
Do you trust the Taliban, Mr. President? Do you trust the Taliban, sir?
Is that a serious question?
It's absolutely a serious question. Do you trust the Taliban?
No, I do not.
The country to the Taliban.
No, I do not trust the Taliban.
Mr. President, will you amplify that question, please? Will you amplify your answer, please, why you don't trust the Taliban?
It's a silly question. Do I trust the Taliban? No. But I trust the capacity of the Afghan military, who is better trained, better equipped, and more competent in terms of conducting war.
Well, here's footage of Afghan military handing over their weapons quite eagerly to Taliban militants. Taliban now rulers, I guess, of Afghanistan. The Afghan military that we spent so much time on, worked so hard with, looks like big chunks of them are folding just like that. Joe Biden has some experience here. He and Barack Obama got out of Iraq in the most reckless and hasty manner imaginable, and that gave rise to ISIS. Who knows what will happen this time? So we got a big problem overseas and a big problem here in America. Our culture, our society seems to be coming apart. Cops are being gunned down, and very few people actually seem to care. Our national media certainly don't. In Indiana, Terre Haute, Indiana, this is police detective and FBI task force officer Greg Ferenczi, shot and killed yesterday afternoon in what's described as an ambush. He was a 30-year veteran of the department and served on that FBI task force since 2010. Yes, an ambush. Police responded, still trying to figure out exactly what happened. This is a very difficult time to be in law enforcement.
It's not a good time to be a police officer in America. But this is an example of someone that would die for a person that hates who they are. We're not bad people.
And the conditions were set for this kind of violence and the violence we're seeing against civilians, I believe, last summer when we delegitimized police and glorified all of those Black Lives Matter protesters. I'm sorry, but we did. The media did. This country did. I didn't. We were speaking out, but you saw what happened. The delegitimization, the stigmatizing of cops everywhere. We're living with the results now, and it's awful. A police station set on fire, and the then Democrat nominee for president, Joe Biden, said nothing, seemed to be totally okay with these kinds of displays. Our country is coming apart, and it's not a surprise. They rather ruin this country than get Donald Trump reelected, and it looks like they did. We talked about 7-year-old Kelby Shorty, shot and killed Sunday while celebrating July 4th in North Memphis. This is an epidemic. It is happening all over the place, and no one really seems to care. And the media are covering up for Democrat politicians who have helped create this problem. This is kind of pathetic. Lori Lightfoot of Chicago, seen reportedly asking Joe Biden for help with the crime situation in Chicago. Can Joe Biden really help out with that after all he's done or not done? Here are some of the solutions. Democrats don't like talking about crime. When crime is an issue, they like talking about guns and they like talking about jobs, as if when you're being murdered or robbed, somehow a jobs program is going to fix everything.
I'm going to give you a future. I'm going to give you an alternative. I'm going to give you training, and I'm going to give you a job. New York State will pay 100% of the salary.
Hey, a great big government program. This is the Kamala Harris approach to fixing a problem. She wants to take care of the root causes when it comes to immigration. Governor Cuomo, fellow Democrats, the root causes of crime. We've got a crisis on our hands right now. This stuff he's talking about will take years and lots of money and won't make a difference, in my opinion. Meanwhile, the media, they don't care. They just don't care. They're not covering this out-of-control crime wave that we're seeing. They only care when cops take the life, perhaps justifiably, perhaps not. There are mistakes that are made of a person of color.
The fatal police shooting of a black man in a small North Carolina town last week is fueling new questions over transparency. More than a year after Breonna Taylor was killed by Louisville police, the Justice Department announced a sweeping investigation into that city's police department. Body cam video also at the center of another police shooting in Virginia. A man fighting for his life after his family says a deputy mistook a cordless phone for a gun.
They hype the violence that can suit their political needs, and they ignore the violence that will hamper their political needs. And all the while, they love glorifying themselves. Have you heard or seen all of these nauseating tributes and retrospectives about January 6th? Seen a lot of them. It's all about them, the media, what they went through, how they suffered. Take a look. They're all over the place. And yeah, they are kind of nauseating. It's all about the reporters and what they saw. We'll tell you what they really saw in a moment, but they're complaining about post-traumatic stress, and they need treatment now. This person from PBS, I'm still not sleeping like I used to. Even to this day, I became kind of an insomniac. A reporter who was there, more or less, on January 6th. Another one, it was traumatizing. I shut my emotions. If I went down, I was going to go down fighting. I'm going to do my job. Eric Wasson from Bloomberg. How about this one? That day, we weren't just observers. We were one of their targets. A lot of us reporters are having a tough time with that. Well, I'm having a tough time with their self-glorification and BS, quite frankly.
I had a real hard time getting through it because of all of the people that, I mean, frankly, I look at that and I see people that I know. And so, you know, watching it sitting here with you, it really underscores how close we came to utter catastrophe. So
full of themselves. You know, they were in the basement. They ran away. Hey, I understand, but they weren't there. They ran away. You know who the chief photographer was that day? A Black Lives Matter activist. Take a look. You've probably seen this footage. All the networks have been using it. Yeah, things got chaotic inside the Capitol. But look who took this video. You see the little logo there in the lower right? Jaden X. Who's Jaden X? It's this guy, John Sullivan, a well-known Black Lives Matter activist. Here he is under arrest. He was there when Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed. He actually took the video that we've all seen by this point. He also stood outside the White House last summer and threatened to do all kinds of things to the people who work inside.
My group is Insurgents USA. We about to burn this down. This we got rip Trump out of that office right over there. Pull him out that. Nah, we ain't about waiting until the next election. We about to go get that mother. I ain't about that. Because you know what time it is? I want y'all to be after me. It's time for a revolution.
Well, I don't like the guy, but he did take some pretty compelling video. This Black Lives Matter activist on Capitol Hill on January 6th. Most of the images are from him. Networks bought these images. And there's his little logo right there. Interesting, because all of the reporters, the ones who say they report and suffered so much, you can't find much of their work from that day. You can't, but you sure can hear them whine about it.
I just want to say how heartbreaking it is to walk through the Capitol this morning and see the remnants of the damage that was done yesterday. We spend, our Capitol Hill team, we spend so much time in this building.
Okay, look, people can be triggered by all kinds of things these days, so I want everybody to get the help they need. But this is an exaggeration. I think it's dramatization. The building was up and running in a couple of hours, and it was back to business. And they weren't there. They were taken to safety. They were. I could moan. I could moan about all kinds of things. I could moan about the time I was wounded in Iraq, covering the invasion for Fox News. I could moan about the times I had to fly missions over Iraq back in the 1990s. And I could also moan about the things I saw and the things I was exposed to at Ground Zero on September 11th, 2001. But I choose not to.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.